Welcome, SteelersNation. Let me get the microphone together. Some of y'all are probably laughing. Y'all saw me drink out of this and then drunk out of this. Let me explain that really quick. I like cold water, and I forgot that I had brought my Yeti down here with cold water in it, and then I have my half a bottle left from earlier that I can pour in it because ice is in there. So if y'all saw that and was wondering, why is he drinking out of two different things? That's what it was, but who cares, right? But what's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement, aka the virtual Heinz Field. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. But again, you guys already know, Tuesday is for phone calls, so I'm gonna just jump into my topics, get them out the way. I'm not gonna really do the timestamps today. I said that after the game. I'm not going to do the timestamps like I normally do in this one because I think there's a lot to talk about. And I want to talk about these things, man, and then get to the phone calls. It seems like, you know, in some of those shows when I'm going through the timestamps and all that, it just gets away from us. The show ends up being too long, so I don't want to do that. I'm just going to give you my points, let you guys hear that, then we'll get to the phone calls, and then I'll close out the show with some final thoughts. But before we get started, of course, first thing we're going to do is say hello to the early commenters. Sasquatch, Tony Barnes, Jack Bauer, Jared Devil. Hello, Miss Odessa. How you been? How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while, so I'm hoping you're well, and I'm glad that you're back here working with us, so thank you very much. Rajon39, Luis D, Patrick Lodge, Lyle McCombs, Charlie Brown, Marlon Masters, my good buddy Ron Simpson Gaming in the building. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing this evening? Thank you for coming through. As always, you know we lovely. We appreciate you, lovely ladies. And here's another one of the real Missy. Hello, Miss Lady. How you doing tonight? Thank you for coming through again. We appreciate the lovely ladies that participate on the show. Who else we got? Brent Fox, Cody, Vista Light. Who else we got in here? Mr. Ullman. Mr. Ullman, how you doing? Shadow Slayer. Who else? Xtastic. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that, man. He says, is 55 helping or hurting the team? That's going to be one of my root points before I get to the phone calls. Rail Facts in the building. Wow, we got a donation right out the gate. Right out the gate. Thank you very much, Shadow Slayer. Let's read your comment, but first we're going to give you a round of applause. Make sure it's working. Round of applause is tripping, so hold on. Let me get it on. Let me get it on. I'm petty, guys. I want to make sure I'm giving you guys your royal treatment. Here we go. Round of applause. There we are. Well, hold on. You might not be hearing that, so hold on. Give me a second. There it is. Round of applause. There it is. Let me read your comment. He says, Sim, did you hear that the Steelers tried to trade for Fletcher Cox, but the deal didn't go through? And I can't. How you going to open? You can't. I think you're saying I can't imagine how you're going to open the show Thursday, or you can't wait on how I'm going to open the show Thursday with my brother Smitty. You guys know Smitty on my Thursday show that, we talk other stuff. That's kind of the gaming, that started with my whole connection with Madden and all of that. And that's what we do over there. We started to incorporate some real life stuff, but he's a Lions fan. So that should be an interesting show. And I told him Thursday that, hey, man, any given Sunday. And I stick by that, as you guys continue to see. Look at what happened to the Rams. And not saying that the Niners are a bad team, but again, 7-2 versus a team that's struggling. And the Niners looked like they were the better team. So, but anyway, yes, I did hear about the trade. Also, we've learned, and again, these are reports, but I had definitely heard about the Fletcher Cox situation. And also, now you're hearing that the Steelers made an effort to reach out to Odell Beckham. Again, these are reports. I don't know if any of that has been confirmed in terms of the Beckham news. I tend to definitely believe the Fletcher Cox situation. But yeah, man, and again, it's important to point these things out because people always say, oh, why didn't the team do anything, right? People always are quick to say that. when we don't get a player that's a free agent, or we can't trade for a player, or what have you. People always say that. I just had a conversation with somebody on Sunday saying, man, Odell Beckham went to the Rams. Why weren't we in the sweepstakes? And I said, well, how do you know we weren't? The two things that you always have to consider is the player, okay, and situation as far as contract. But the main thing, the number one thing, is the player. How do you know the player wants to come to a certain team? So you can't get in your feelings when we don't land a free agent or trade for a guy. And again, you don't always know what's going on. So there you have it. But all right, man, let's get into it. Let me get right into it, man. I got a lot to go over, so let me jump right into it. Let me pull up my notations here. My trusty, dusty Google Docs. First and foremost, let's talk about the injuries. We know about Chase Claypool. Mike Tomlin said Claypool will more than likely be working to get back this week. We'll see how that transpires. Dotson and Hayden are both more of a question mark. So we know Dotson, both him and Hayden went down in the game, and Tomlin basically said, we'll see. The participation be the guy type of thing, but he didn't sound as optimistic about those guys. So that is something key to pay attention to. Also, he felt a little more confident about Trey Turner. He kind of stamped it and said he feels that Trey Turner will more than likely be back. But also leaving the light on for TJ Watt. Right, and that's what he said. He's leaving the light on. We already understand, what the situation is there. I think the Steelers dodged the bullet. There's no real damage. From what they're saying is more so soft tissue. And, the way his knee bumped into Schobert, I believe it looked like it could have been a lot worse. So I'm definitely glad that TJ Watt doesn't have an extended injury or an extensive injury, if you will. But again, these guys are out right now. So we'll have to wait until the injury report to see what will be taken out with us to Los Angeles to face the Rams. But here's another thing. Ben Roethlisberger. Now, this is an interesting point because I said this immediately. I remember watching the game with Leonard, and I probably even text Tony and Kenyon and said, hey, does this affect Ben next week? We knew he was going to be out against the Lions. Obviously, they found out on Saturday. So I was like, okay, is Ben in that 10-day protocol? Because honestly, we still don't know. At least I don't. I don't know if he has COVID or, because I believe there's different variations of how they treat the time that you're out based on vaccination status and whether you have COVID or whether you were, one of the contact tracing type of people. But my first question was, is he going to be like an Aaron Rodgers situation where it's 10 days? Or is it more so he just has to test negative twice? We got to wait and see. But if you listen to what Mike Tomlin said, they're moving more in the direction of Mason Rudolph. Yes, Mason Rudolph, guys. Not Dwayne Haskins, but I got something to talk about on that as well. But yeah, he's saying they're preparing to go into the game with the game plan as of today with Mason Rudolph being the quarterback. So that's interesting as well if Ben Roethlisberger also is not playing in this game against the, I said Rams. I know I said Rams earlier, didn't I, guys? I meant Chargers. I meant the Chargers. So I know you guys are probably correcting me in the chat. I'm not looking at the chat right now, but I meant to say Chargers. Going into LA against the Chargers without Ben Roethlisberger, again, whether you hate or love Ben Roethlisberger, whether you feel like the offense is better or not with Ben Roethlisberger, I mean, from what we saw on Sunday, you would probably prefer it be Ben Roethlisberger. I'm just saying. But here's the other big one, guys. I hate to be so grim. Minkah Fitzpatrick is on the COVID-19 list as well. Minkah is on the COVID list, and we know he will not be playing come Sunday. This is significant because, again, some of you guys said Minkah ain't been doing much. Okay, that's because the interceptions are not there. But Minkah has been helping greatly in other areas. Again, look at Sunday. Minkah came up with a pick. Unfortunately, Devin Bush was called for holding. But that was a play made by Minkah, right? That wasn't a situation, where it was in the trenches and it was clear protection for the quarterback or something like that, or no, it was straight up Minka reading that and making the play. Because even the little bit of holding that Devin Bush did, which he did, in today's NFL, they call that, but even that little bit of holding he did, that did not stop Hawkinson. That wasn't enough to say, oh, it kept him from getting to the ball. No, Minka read it, made the play. That was a splash, and I'm blown because that was that interception that has been escaping him. It was right there. He made the play, but outside of that, Minka has been saving the defense at times with tackles, run support. Yeah, I know we have been run on, yes, but I'm saying go back and watch the games. There's many times when Minka Fitzpatrick has made a play, and it is what it is. The pass breakup in some of these games late in the game when Minka is knocking the ball away. Think about, I want to say it was the game, it might have been the game against Denver. He makes that play at the end. It was one of them games, but, I'm just saying. We're going to miss Minka Fitzpatrick. So now you're potentially without your quarterback and your defensive quarterback. Because I feel like he's more of the quarterback than anyone else. I don't think at this point it's our middle linebacker, neither one of them. I think it's more Minka that's on the back line of that defense. But that's a significant loss. And let me say this as well, man, because people say crazy, ignorant things. Can you guys please stop blaming Ben Roethlisberger and Minka Fitzpatrick for having COVID or getting COVID? Can y'all stop that? Can y'all please stop doing that? Because now you're talking about people's lives. You don't know how these people live. You don't know how it happened. You don't know any of that. So stop blaming people for getting a virus that has been detrimental to many people. I understand definitely very well. Most of you guys know my story and what happened with my family. It won't their fault. So can y'all please stop doing that? Because to me, it's when you start being unhuman for a football game or a team like this, it's pretty ignorant. I'm sorry. To me, it's pretty ignorant when we start doing stuff like that. So stop saying that. Stop saying that. It's crazy. I saw so much of that, after we lost. I mean, people literally blaming Ben for catching COVID. I'm like, man, y'all, or whatever. Again, we don't know because I don't think they really tell you. They come out and say a person has it. They just say they're on the list. And the list could mean they were in contact with someone or they got it. But either way, be human for a little bit and put something, life before just rooting for your favorite team. Like, come on, man, get a grip. So without Minka, that's going to hurt us, man. It really is going to hurt us. And again, if Ben Roethlisberger is not playing, I don't think none of us are going into this game confidently. Now, here's the interesting thing. Looking at the Chargers, Joey Bosa. Wow. Bosa and Jerry Tillery. They are also, at the moment, on the COVID list. So, there's probably their premier pass rusher. I'm sure we all know that. It will not be available in that game. Very interesting. Very interesting. So here, both for the Steelers and the Chargers are going to go in there, less powerful than they would be without their full complement of players. But, offensively, they still are going to be something to deal with, and it's still going to be up to our defense to stop them. I still think they have enough defensive pieces. My boy, Derwin James, man in the back end of that thing. It's going to be quite a struggle, man, for if it's Mason Rudolph out there playing quarterback. But anyway, that's the quick injury and COVID report. A couple things that I did want to point out from Tomlin's presser. He talked about and acknowledged Mason Rudolph's inaccuracies. And guys, it was a lot of that in that game. I went back and watched it, and it's just, I will say this though, it does look like on the one that he missed Deontay, it does look like maybe Deontay pulled back a little bit. It did kind of look like that. But still, man, you got to make that throw. I mean, to me, it wasn't that far off to where if he slowed up a second, I don't know. I mean, we'll never know. When I see the all-22, I'll get a better glance at it. But watching the game again, it is possible that maybe Deontay slowed up just a bit. But take that one off the board, right? Take that inaccuracy away. And even though, that could have been a huge one, but take that one away. There were still multiple times when Mason Rudolph was all over the field. Now, he made a couple decent throws as well, like that, that up and out to Ray McCloud. Remember the one where Ray got blasted? He held on to it. That was a heck of a throw because, Rudolph had to throw it to where he was going to be. He threw the ball before he even broke out. It was a great throw. And it's weird, man, because, listen, Mason Rudolph can make some throws from time to time. I do feel like, and it could have been the conditions, I don't know, but I even feel like even when he played against Cleveland last year, I do still feel like he doesn't have a lot of strength on his ball, man. It doesn't seem like the ball is pushed down the field, if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, he'll take a shot down the field, but I don't see a whole lot of there's not a lot of power behind his throw. You don't really see him overthrow it, like deep. It seems like the ball hangs up there. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they're kind of short. Like, think about it. Even the ones that he connected to with James Washington last year, James Washington had to come back and get it or fight for it and get it. It wasn't really, I didn't really notice times where he put it out there. And that's one of the things, too, I would knock as far as his arm. It doesn't seem like the arm strength is all the way there. And I could be wrong, but it just seems like the ball floats. But he was wildly inaccurate, man. So it was good to hear Tomlin at least acknowledge that. And I also wanted to talk about this, because I saw somebody mention this in the comments of the post-game show, and I heard Tomlin mention this as well. I don't know what you do about Rudolph passing the ball 50 times, right? Let me break this down. You guys hear me say this each and every week, right? I say the Steelers are not going to win a bunch of games if Ben Roethlisberger is passing the ball 40 or more times, and I stick with that. I don't care who the quarterback is at this moment. I don't think if Mason Rudolph is passing the ball 40 or more times, we're going to win either, or Dwayne Haskins, or whoever. But what's kind of awkward when you look at that situation, and I think I got this. Let me get it. I want to make sure I'm accurate here. I said this on the post-game show, but let me make sure I have it 100% accurate. Give me a second, man. I think Najee Harris carried the ball 26 times. I'm almost certain he carried the ball 26 times. Give me a second. Let me make sure. And my point being, guys, as I look for it. All right, here we go. I got it here. Najee Harris rushed the ball 26 times. Najee Harris caught the ball 4 times. So Najee had 30 touches, okay? 30. But like I said, let's include those 4 passes. You give that to Rudolph's attempts. 26 times. 26 times. Benny Snell carried the ball 1 time. So the Steelers literally ran the ball with a handoff 27 times. Mason Rudolph rushed 4 times, but let's just count the handoffs. I don't know if I can criticize Matt Canada in this regard. I mean, you ran Najee into the ground. If your running back has 26 carries and over 100 yards rushing, and you throw for 50 attempts, like, honestly, guys, at this point, I don't know what do you do? So how do you keep it more balanced? Was it because we were trying to do something else to get down the field? I don't know. Were we trying to keep the run pass balance? I don't know. I mean, it'd be different, y'all, if we look at the games that we played early in the season when I was saying, Ben Roethlisberger can't throw the ball 40 times. Remember early, first 3-4 weeks of the season, and Najee was only carrying the ball like 10 times, 9 times? That's when you would say, hold up, I got a problem with them throwing the ball 50 times. But in this scenario, I mean, how many more times were we going to hand it off? I guess you could say bring some other guys in, and that's always an option. But when a running back carries the ball 26 times and the quarterback passes 50 times, I don't know. In theory, it's unbalanced, yeah, but I'm just saying, how many more times were we going to rush the football? So that was an interesting one that was an interesting one because I know a lot of people were reacting that way after the game, saying, man, you can't let this dude pass that many times. I get it, guys, but like I said, based on the circumstance, I don't know. That's a tough one. But also, really quick, man, where we at? 21 minutes. Okay, I'm rolling along. I don't want to take up too much time. I want to get to the calls. Let's talk about Dwayne Haskins and the reports that we're hearing about him. Man, if these reports are true about Dwayne Haskins not really taking things seriously or not taking advantage of practices, and again, take this with a grain of salt. And honestly, I don't have the same beef with Aditi Kinkinwala as some people do. Aditi is just a reporter. You understand that? She's just a reporter. Reporters look for information. Sometimes reporters try to find information that ain't really there, or sometimes they embellish a little bit or they give their interpretation. Y'all know how that game works. So I don't take anything personal when it comes to Aditi. I mean, listen, I've seen it all when it comes to her. People talk about the way she looks and like, y'all, people are just strange when it comes to this stuff. Like I'm as big a Steelers fan as anyone else, but I don't personally attack people. Like, why? Like she has a vendetta out on the Steelers. And even if she did, who cares? I mean, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't affect the way they perform on the field. I'm just saying. But if there is any truth to what she's reporting, hey man, and apparently she's reporting that a coach literally said something to the effect of, look at what he's doing, checking his phone and all of this stuff, doing, practice. And they literally said it's ridiculous. That's lazy. And she's not the only one. Another report came out saying that he's not really footing the bill. Then I got a problem with Dwayne Haskins in that regard because, dude, how many more chances? You know what I'm saying? Think about this. Some of us would say you got a raw deal in Washington. And I think to some degree he did. But the way that whole thing unfolded, you being a former first-round pick, another team is willing to take a chance on you. You've already fell way down out of the ranks. And if you literally right now are not doing everything you need to do to prove that you can play this game, I don't know what to tell him. I only hope that it's not true. Not because I want him to do great with us. No, whether he does or not doesn't matter. Again, I'm taking the human side here. As a human, I only hope that's not true. Because you hate to see people throw away opportunities, bro. So I really hope it's not as serious or it's not as bad as they're making it seem. But, he is behind Mason Rudolph, which is not a surprise. You guys know how the Steelers handle their quarterback depth chart. It's not a huge surprise. But I say all that also to say this to you guys who want to see Haskins. Don't expect to see Haskins. If any of that stuff is true, and you heard Mike Tomlin already said the plan is we're moving forward with Mason Rudolph, so that kills any of that notion right there. It's already gone. It's no need to speculate and argue about it. The man has already said they're moving towards planning for a game with Mason Rudolph. So there's your answer. Don't have to spend all week wondering. No, he nipped that in the bud. But again, man, I just wanted to speak on that aspect from Haskins. I hope that's really not the case. A couple more things I want to talk about, guys. One is practice. Practice? We talking about practice. Got to channel my inner AI right there. First, I have a question for SteelersNation. As you can see, I got my hand here. I'm pondering. I wonder why is it that SteelersNation, and if this doesn't apply to you, then don't take it this way. But time out. I see I do have a donation here. Round of applause. Let me read that comment, and then I'll get back to where I was going. Thank you very much, Sport 8. Is it Sport 8? Sport 8? Is that it? Appreciate the donation. Thank you. You're far too kind. He says, we are playing from behind. The defense couldn't stop the run. Terrible play calling. Mason overthrowing and underthrowing. All of the above. Yeah. And that is a fact. But, I wouldn't necessarily say, yeah, there was a point when we were behind, but it was never at a point where you must throw the ball a million times. You know what I mean? Like the Lions really didn't take if I'm not mistaken, they didn't take a lead until what? At the end. Or no, see, I'm thinking about last week. See, I got my weeks mixed up. I don't know. Again, 16-16, I don't think there was ever a time where you had to throw. And there was even some times where I felt like the run was getting stuffed. And I'm surprised that we stuck with it. Again, the boy rushed 26 times, 26 attempts. That ain't no lightweight stuff. So in a way, yeah, the numbers seem unbalanced when you throw 50 times. But at the end of the day, you can't say that you didn't hand the ball off. So I don't know. That was just strange, man. That was awkward. Very awkward. But all right, let me get back to what I was saying. Listen. Back to my thinking hand. I don't understand why some of us in SteelersNation always want to attack the coaching staff. Now, this ain't just the head man. I mean, all of the coaches are always questioned, right? Some people it's Tomlin. Some people it's Keith Butler, which again, we have reason to talk about Keith Butler at times, right? So that's fair. Sometimes it's Matt Canada. Sometimes it's Carl Dunbar. I mean, the offensive line coach, his name slips my mind right now, but I don't know. Adrian Clem. So this is where I'm going with this. The first thing people tried to say with the practice situation, I mean, people hit me up. Some of them left the comments. Man, that's coaching. The missed tackles is coaching, right? Because apparently Joe Schobert made some reference of we need to take practice more seriously. And then somebody said Cam Hayward alluded to it as well. But I didn't hear what they said. They asked Tomlin about it in his presser, and Tomlin said, I don't have a problem with the way, practice goes. I don't think Joe does either. I think he really was just answering questions after a game, which it could have been taken out of context. He could have very well had just been saying, look, man, I think we got to be more serious. Who's to say that he was saying that they don't practice well? Here's the other thing. Guys, what do the Pittsburgh Steelers, and let me get real close to the mic because I got to say this clearly. What is something the Pittsburgh Steelers do every training camp that not all other teams do? It's known that it's a thing that Mike Tomlin likes to emphasize. And again, I'm not saying he's the only one, but this is always talked about every single training camp. Most of the time, the defense can't wait for this drill. Backs on backers. Backs on backers. Most of the players have said how physical it is. You've also heard a lot of the players say how physical practice is. Have we not said that? Have we not heard players say, remember, let me rewind time a little bit. This might have even been last season. Remember when guys were getting injured? Did we not hear some of the players say, maybe we practice too much? Maybe we need to be less physical in practice. Did we not hear that from the players? The players. Also, do we all know that the NFL restricts the amount of padded practices? We all know that, right? I'll wait. We all know this. So please explain to me how it's the coach's fault that players miss tackles. Any coach. I'm not even talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Any coach in the NFL. I'm not putting the blame on coaches for tackling. Y'all know why? Do y'all know how old I was when I first learned how to tackle? I was 6. Actually, no, I was 7. Yeah, see, when I grew up with Pop Warner, 6, you could play flag, and it was called mini mites. After that, it was like the peewees, and then the midgets, and then the juniors, and and so forth and so forth. And by any means, whoever hears this, that's not a term that I'm using to be negative. That's what the team was called. Now, we learned how to tackle when I was 7, and it continued to progress. I even learned how to form tackle by the time I was 10 or 11. Taught me how to break down, put my, the head on the right side of the body and put the shoulder and your head and neck should be on this side of the player so he can't, all of this. Then high school and college, guys, you're not going to blame not being able to tackle on your coach. You're in the NFL. You ain't telling me that you can't tackle well because you don't practice it. Man, if you don't go somewhere and sit down, come on, guys. Sometimes we got to use our own head. An NFL player. Think about this. Think about how many teams don't practice padded at all, and they're winning. They all know how to. James Pierre don't seem to have a problem tackling. You see that nice form tackle that boy made? What a heck of a play he made. He don't seem to be having that issue. You know why? Because we've seen this from him for a couple weeks now. James Pierre seemed to know how to tackle. He probably learned it in college or high school, maybe middle school. I'm just saying. So we got to stop trying to have these excuses for why the team is losing. Sometimes we just got to admit this team ain't that good. They're not playing that well. They're not executing. Period. You can think whatever you think about the coaching staff and who you like and who you dislike, but you're not telling me that an NFL team is missing tackles because they're not tackling enough in practice. Man, if you don't go somewhere with that nonsense, and some of y'all are really feeding into that narrative, y'all need to stop. Stop. Come on, man. All right, last point. Let me get into Devin Bush. Then we're going to open up the phone calls. I've been trying to be patient. With Devin Bush because I don't like to make decisions so quickly, in haste. I take my time. And shout outs to my father-in-law, Leonard. As we were watching the game, he was getting on Devin Bush. Rightfully so. Now, some of the plays, I wouldn't say it was all his fault, but there was enough of them. I watched the game again. And let me just say this. And it's interesting, man, and shout outs to Alex Kazor because he posted a clip today, same play that I'm going to talk about. And I even, I replied to him. I said, man, Alex, thank you for saying this. I was saying this exact thing. You guys remember what I said after the game on Sunday. This exact thing. I said, this guy does not attack blockers. And Alex Kazor posted the same thing earlier today. So it's not just me, guys. It's people that kind of watch the game a little differently and they use the eye test, right? Devin Bush's biggest issue that I'm seeing, and maybe if I get time, I'll go back and watch his rookie year to see if I can see a little more. But he doesn't have that aggression. He's too passive. And again, what did I say earlier in the season? Why I'm still giving him time, but I don't know how much time I can give him. Maybe he's tentative, man. He's very timid. Maybe because of the knee. Maybe he just doesn't trust it yet. I don't know. But if you watch him, he does not attack blockers. If a guard is lined up right over him, he lets him come to him and get blocked. If it's a pull, and this play, second quarter, 4 minutes and 16 seconds left in the second quarter, he watches the pulling and just allows him to come right to him. He does not shoot the gap. He does not fill the gap. He invites the block. That is not the way to play linebacker in the NFL. Not in the middle. That middle linebacker got to be somewhat of a dog. Do y'all remember when we used to get on Ryan Shazier early in his career because he used to shoot the wrong gap? Y'all remember that? Remember what the narrative was? Like, man, this dude blows it up, but when he missed, he missed. Shazier was a dog out there. He would attack. Now, yeah, early on when he was a rookie, he had to adjust. You know, he got caught up in the wash a little bit. It's going to happen. Again, you're playing against professionals, so you're not going to make every play. But once he got his footing, remember that when we used to be like, man, whenever he shoots the right gap, we don't get none of that from Devin Bush. Dog, you in middle linebacker in the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's a requirement. You know who used to do that very well that's no longer with us? Vince Williams. If one thing Vince Williams could do was shoot the gap, fill the hole, blow up a guard coming to block him or fullback. He used to, you know what I mean? And sometimes that's all it takes. You don't have to make the tackle, but plug the hole. Make that running back have to get creative. Go watch Devin Bush. Devin Bush is often just blocked. Just blocked. And it seems like, just watching him, I can't confirm this, it seems like he's thinking. I don't see the reaction because he's like tiptoeing and, you know what I'm saying, and then he's halfway going here instead of just reacting and letting it flow. And I'm not letting Schobert off the hook either. Schobert ain't doing it either. Now, coincidentally, Schobert, I think, played a little better than Devin Bush in this last game as far as doing these things. That first touchdown, though, the 28-yarder, I felt like Schobert went the wrong direction. When I see it on the 22, man, they haven't released it yet. I think I'll have it tomorrow. I'll be able to confirm. So you guys that see the private content will show that play. But neither one of these guys are shooting the gap. Like, go attack that dude, man. You have to. I know he's a big boy, but you got to go. You have to. You got to go meet that contact. You can't stand flat-footed because if you flat-footed, it's a wrap. It's over. A defender caught flat-footed against a guard, tackle, anybody pulling, even tight end, it's over for you. You have to meet force with force. And Devin Bush, man, guys, and that's why I put it in the title, man. Is Devin Bush a question mark? You got to ask. I mean, again, I understand. Look, I have been giving him bail all year. What have I said? Technically, this is his second season playing. Okay, we all know it's his third contractually, but it's his second season. He went down very early last year, so he's essentially playing his second season right now. But I'm just not liking the behavior I'm seeing. Not just his play. I'm not liking, guys, on that other long run, and he comes in from the side and like passively touches it was almost like two-hand touch and falls off. Yo, wait till I show y'all that play. That was on that long run, the 40-something yarder. If you go watch it, Devin Bush comes in and just barely touches him and rolls off. I'm like, bruh, it ain't good. It ain't good. It ain't good. And I think it's a question mark. But that's what I got, man. So let me get to the phone calls, man, and then I'll wrap it up at the end. I tried to be as quick as I could. I still ended up putting 40 minutes out there, but hey, faster than normal, right? So let's get to these phone calls. Remember, guys, in and out. Not no super duper long calls. I don't want to have to cut you guys off. Let's see. Looks like we got something. What was that? Was that I think somebody subscribed because I don't see a donation, but whoever that was, I didn't see the name and time. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome home. Welcome to the home team. I won't disappoint you. But all right, man, let's get to the phone calls. Let's see who we got. Real facts. Yes, that run was embarrassing, bro. 007 said, rag dog. I'm telling y'all, go watch it. It was an embarrassment. It ain't just him. A lot of people miss tackles, but If you see what he did, you're going to understand what I'm saying about the lack of aggression. I can't see, let me say this before I open the calls. I, for one, as a die-hard Pittsburgh Steelers fan, black and gold, I cannot have my middle linebacker play like that. I can't. Think about it. Usually we at least got a thumper. At least one of the dudes is a thumper. We ain't got no thumper. Ponder on that, folks. Today, the Pittsburgh Steelers do not have a thumper at middle linebacker. Name one of them. And here's another thing about Bush. Why is it that he's being taken out of the game in dime? Why? Again, could be a coaching decision. Maybe, maybe the legs ain't all the way back. That's fair, but you have to ask the question. Robert Spillane, do y'all realize Robert Spillane is playing dime? Do y'all realize that? I don't think everybody knows that, so let me spell it out real quick. When we're in the dime package, for those that don't really know football terms, dime package, you have 6 DBs, 6 defensive backs. Usually there's 2 safeties. You could play a bigger dime and maybe throw another safety out there, but it's usually 2 safeties, 4 corners, right? You essentially have 2 nickels in a way if you're playing deep. Sometimes they'll roll that guy up. Sometimes they'll roll him up and give the dime sort of a nickel look. But it's usually 6 DBs. You have 1 linebacker, 4 down linemen. Do you guys realize when we're in that scenario? Listen again. 6 defensive backs, 1 linebacker, only 1. Do y'all realize that it's Robert Spillane that's getting the dime snaps? In most cases, it is not your number 1 draft pick, Devin Bush. It is not the tackling machine of last year that you traded for in Joe Schobert. It's Robert Spillane. And y'all tell me what's wrong with that. I'm just saying. Let's get to the calls, man. First up, area code 951. What you got for us?
Hey, thanks for having me, man. This is Kevin out of Temecula, California. So I have 2 questions and I'll get off the air. The first question is, if Minka is actually out for this upcoming game and they do decide to activate Carl Joseph, how do you think the coaches, or how would you input Carl Joseph into the defense along with the Trey Norwood? Like, would you prefer one, Carl Joseph in the box, or would you put Trey Norwood back, or vice versa? How would you do that? Because I got a couple ideas I want to do on that. And the second and last question for you, man, is regarding Devin Bush. Exactly, I agree with everything you just said. The question I have, though, is it seems like teams, when they see Bush in, they're running the ball up the guts, and they know Bush is getting manhandled. When they see Spillane in, and like last year when it was Vince Williams, example is teams with receiving running backs and good slot receivers and tight ends, they're spreading the ball out and they're making those man play coverage. So how do you combat that? If you put one guy in, the team does vice versa, whatever the strength is. Do you address that in free agency? Do you address that in the draft? Thanks for having my call, man. That's all I got.
Man, great call, man. Great call. And I'm going to try to answer both of those quickly. The Carl Joseph thing. It's interesting because I haven't seen him play for us. So, I think he got a couple snaps, but not enough for me to really know how we use him. But if I'm just going off of recent memory, I probably put Joseph in the box because he's more of a hitter, more physical, and let Norwood play back. I liked what Norwood has done in some coverage situations. Did y'all notice that we was playing him in the nickel too? More than Marlette in this last game. So that's the question. Joseph, see, it gets tricky, man, because you got to replace Minka on all downs, every down, not just dime and nickel. So that's when it's like, ooh, So maybe if it's base, maybe Joseph. I don't know if you think he's a better cover guy because he's played safety and such, more than Norwood has in the NFL. But that's a tricky one. But I think if, again, just going off the top of the head, I probably would keep Joseph more in the box area, where he could protect maybe against the run in certain situations, a more physical guy, and let Norwood play deep. But that's interesting. The second question, man, I forgot just that. Hold on, somebody remind me, man. And I didn't want to take too long, but I don't want to not answer that question. Somebody remind me. What did he say? What was his second question? See, that's what happened when you talk too much. You forget it. Oh, hold on. I think he's still on. I can ask him. 951. Yeah, I can hear you. What was your second question?
Oh, yes. Yeah, so my second question was in regards to what you were breaking down to about Devin Bush, which I completely
there you
agree.
go. Yeah.
The question I have for you regarding that is, though, since Pittsburgh decided to go with the running back instead of the first-round linebacker, when Bush is on the field, obviously you can see they run. Now, one thing I'll give credit for is Bush can still keep up with some of the tight ends and some of the slot receivers, right? I would say more so than Spillane can. When Spillane's out there and when Vince Williams was out there last year, the running backs were, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, those cats were dogging us in the flats, and Spillane was getting burnt. Williams was getting burnt. So my question is, how do you combat that? Do we address that? Do we try to find a linebacker? There's very few out there that obviously we had Shazier, which, man, if he was there, he would solve the problem. But do we try to find a Shazier-like backer who can stop the run, be physical, and cover receivers? Or do we have a combination of a guessing game of when we throw both of those guys out there who can address both issues?
There you go. I appreciate it. Yeah. So what you would have to do, and my bad, guys, I know this call took long because it was on me. So it wasn't on him. His first call was in and out, quick, perfect. If we can keep that tempo, great. But this one's on me because I forgot his question. This is what you actually have to do. And I know this is the easy way out, but you got to find a Shazier type of guy, meaning a guy that can do both. Because remember, when Shazier was that guy, we had a thumper or a more, run guy beside him. So with the Steelers always playing two middle linebackers, I think you got to have, that's why you have the what is it, the Buck and the Mac or whatever was at the same position. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the two inside positions. That's why you got these guys kind of have to be different. You have a more utility, versatile guy, and you have the pure run stopper. So even when you're in nickel, you could even put those two guys out there, and you got a linebacker that is capable of covering. And that's what I think they were trying to get with Bush. As far as do we draft it? I mean, if he's there, maybe free agency. But I think that's the answer. I think you just can't have in our system two middle linebackers that are like, they're the same. You got to have one guy that's more of your athlete, more versatile guy, and the other guy got to be like your thumper. And I think that's the only way you make it work. And also it's the NFL. I mean, sometimes we're not going to combat everything. Linebackers are supposed to get beat in coverage. You know what I mean? You get lucky when you have a guy that can cover. So I think that's how you do it. Area code 505, what you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So, I want to address Johnson, Deontay Johnson. Okay. So like as a receiver in high school, you get told that when you catch the ball, you stay on the outside. And what I've noticed about him is that he goes inside with the ball loose. And that's what caused that fumble last week. And he's done it a number of times. And for Johnson, he will get killed doing that eventually. You stay to the outside. You already had the big play. Just go out of bounds and just keep going. But that's all I got, Sim. Thank you.
Hey, man, thank you for that. And I'll definitely reply to that really quick. Fully agree with that in terms of protecting the ball. Generally, you want to stay outside. You keep the ball on the outside, arm. But I'm going to be honest. I'm not mad at Deontay Johnson cutting back inside. And here's why. That boy is dynamic, man. If Deontay, remember, we've been saying this for a couple of years. If he could just get his ball security under control, which means catching and not fumbling. If he could just put that together more consistently, I'm here to tell y'all, Deontay Johnson is a problem. Like, think about it. Look at how many more yards he got after going inside. And that's why I couldn't tell him as a coach, hey, stop doing that. Nah, let him cook. Let them dudes cook, man. Those shifty dudes, like the Tariq Hill types, like, not comparing them. I'm just saying, let him cook. Because when he cut back inside, think about if he would have just went outside where he caught it. Nah. He was trying, and in that situation, he's trying to get as many yards as possible. He just got to secure the football, period. And you have to be in the mindset that every time I'm getting tackled, somebody's going to try to rip the ball out. And that's just it. And sometimes they're going to be successful. You know, we do it to people too. TJ does it all the time. But a receiver or running back, anybody carrying the ball just has to be in that mindset at all times. Somebody is trying to knock this ball out. He's just got to secure the ball. I don't have a problem with him trying to get extra yards. Thanks for the call, though. Next up, we have the first 937. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, man? I just want to touch on the Deontay Johnson play real quick. As far as the catch, everything was great. It was just a superior defensive play because if you watch the play actually, you know, if you actually watch the play, you see that Deontay actually he seen the guy. He turned the ball away from the guy. He just made a great play on the ball. But I want to talk about, for real, is Devin Bush. Devin Bush, he's looking very Jarvis Jonesy. You know what I'm saying? He's not living up to. I mean, I know he has the talent. I think right now it's a mental thing. You know what I'm saying? I think he has to get out of his head, you know, so he can go out there and play, full tilt like he's supposed to, like he did before the injury. I just think he has to get out of his head. And the last thing I want to talk about is Kendrick Green. Hey, Sunday, Mason Rudolph was probably the number one receiver behind the line of scrimmage with all of the high passes and wide snaps from Kendrick Green. Kendrick Green is not a NFL center. He played guard in the college ranks. He played center maybe 4 times his whole college career. I don't understand why our organization loves to get players and put them in unnatural positions. You know what I'm saying? Play this man at guard. We may be good at guard. Put Hasenauer in there because he actually played center at Alabama and blocked for Najee Harris. So, I just don't understand the chemistry and what they do with, switching players around from their natural positions and then expecting, good things to come out of that. That's it. I'm out.
Man, great call. Definitely appreciate that. And I just made a notation here. I'm actually doing it so I don't forget. Talk about players we draft. I want to talk about that to wrap up the show. I don't want to spend the time here, but stick around. I will comment on that because I did see some people, as well saying, "Oh, the Steelers never draft the right guys," and I'm like, I don't know if we can say that anymore. But specifically to what you said, this is what happened to the Steelers. So now I'll address this part and then I'll go to the next call. The Steelers took a gamble. They did. And I'm not mad at the gamble, but they put their bets on Najee Harris and that talent. And honestly, I may have done it too. And I may have rolled the dice and said, look, we can find a center. Hopefully we'll be able to get a guy. And then we kind of address the run game all together. We get a stud running back that is a generational talent, perhaps, that you just can't turn down at that point, and we come back and we get a center. Now, here's where it got tricky. They also needed a real tight end. So I think the Steelers were stuck at 2. I think they were stuck. I think if Pat Freiermuth is not there, maybe they take one of the other centers. And then you know how the draft goes, man. Once the draft, and guys start going here and going there, you just can't predict. You know what I mean? But I think the Steelers took a swing and they missed. And usually I try to give players time, man, but I think Kendrick Green is one of those guys that we're seeing it already that I don't know if there's much more he can do. I really don't. I would still give him a shot at guard because he can move. And he has some decent plays too. I just don't know if he's an NFL center, man. And the stuff that I'm asking him to do, I don't know if he'll ever be able to do it. We'll see. But yeah, Hausenauer and, you know, BJ Finney, try these guys, man. I mean, something, because I don't know if you keep pounding your head against the wall, but at the same time, man, we know they're not going to back off of a draft pick unless they really feel like he costs them a game. But we'll see. Good call, man. The next 937, what you got for us?
What's up, Sam?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
What's up? It's your boy, man. My name is Johnny, man. Johnny Archie, one of Marlon's partners, man. We in the same hood. 937, you know us by now. Man, what a sloppy loss. I mean, to me, it feels like a loss. To all of the nation, I'm sure it does feel like a loss. You feel me?
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I'm going to go ahead and get in with Devin Bush with you, man. I was going to start with Ben, basically Rudolph, but here's the thing. So, Devin Bush, first-round draft pick, you know. Yeah, I was high on him as well and everything. And, well, we know what happened. But see, here's the thing. He had a great rookie season. If you look at the stats, he had a few interceptions, a couple, I believe. Fumble recovery and such, 4 touchdowns. He's flying all over the field, right? So then what happened? The man gets hurt. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been hurt. I played football. I coach football. I think, not making no excuses, but he's a young boy. I think psychologically, I think he's fine. I think that's why he perceives to be timid. I think psychologically he's still worrying about that knee. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I went through it. I went through it, man. You get hurt, and you have to understand there's a psychological healing. Now, I ain't going to give the man forever.
Yeah.
We'll give him, let's give him one more year, man. Because technically, to me, in my mind, understanding football, this is his second year in a sense. You feel me?
Right. Yep.
In a sense. You know what I'm saying? Now, I will say this. I'm going to add this with it, man. Now, look, you understand defense. You play football. I've been listening to you. Ollie Wiley when Stephon Tuitt gone. I forgot Stephon was even on the team, bro. Right?
It's a huge blow. That's a big loss, man.
What'd you say, brother?
So that's a big loss. Those two, that's a huge void.
It's huge. So what does that do? So when you're talking about run stopping as a defensive-minded coach, then the defensive line, if you will, eats up the offensive line. You know what I mean? And you're supposed to allow your linebackers to run free. That ain't happening because Cam can't do it all by himself. Now, these backups, now they do all right when it comes to pass rushing. But I noticed they're not that great at stopping the run. Cam is, of course. He can't do it all by himself. But we have to consider that as well. All I'm saying is I'm fighting for my man Bush because I believe in him, man. I'll give him another year, bro. You know what I mean? I'll give him another year, get his mind together, be mentally strong, get over that injury, man. You all right. You can do it, brother. Be aggressive. He was aggressive his rookie year. If you look at the tape, he was aggressive. So, one more thing, man. I'm glad that Mason Rudolph got to play. Why? Because it showed me what I already knew. All my brothers in SteelersNation, just get Ben. I know Ben. No, Ben got to go, man. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, unfortunately or fortunately, he's still our best option right now. But y'all can argue that. I'd like to see some comments on that for right now because you don't do 18 years and be good above and not be good above the neck. You still got that pre-snap read. I don't believe Ben misses that quick slant to Deontay Johnson.
Nope.
Which I believe would have won the game for us. You feel me? I don't think Ben misses that. Yes, he has to go. Yes, he's on his last leg. But I don't think he misses that, man. That's the thing. When you didn't play 18 years in the league, man, you still got that above the neck. Even though your body is deteriorating, above the neck, you see certain things. You feel me? I guess I'll leave with that, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think about what I had to say today, man.
Man, thank you for the call. I appreciate both of you brothers, man. The 937 crew, your great insights, great comments. And I'll be really quick with the reply. I'm going to add on to Bush, but I agree with you with Ben. Because the funny thing is, we don't won a couple games already this season with that. To Johnson, matter of fact, and one to Claypool. Ben been throwing that quick slant. Like, he been looking for it to ice the game. So, yeah, I don't think he going to miss that one. I just don't. But, yeah, I think he is our best option, man. No question at this moment. But the Bush thing, I'm right there with you. I'm just concerned, and I will say it's a question mark, but the only reason why I'm saying that, and I'm not being negative to him, is we don't know. Is he going to snap out of it? Will he be better next year? Because that's one thing that we can't deny, what my man said there. He had a great season, his rookie season. And people were, matter of fact, he was playing well before he got hurt last year. And again, remember, guys, when I said this a few weeks ago, I was like, he's timid. I think he's a little tentative. He might be worried about that knee. And that's the thing, man. You hear people say that all the time that's gone through a real injury. You know what he needs? I don't know if everybody has seen this movie, but I'm going to just say the movie name and see who catches it. He need a Leslie Wright. He need Leslie Wright to come in there and tell him, you can do this. That's what he need. He needs somebody to tell him he can do it. Trust the leg. And what she say in the movie, anything you want to do, you can do it. That's what he needs, man. But yeah, hopefully he gets it, man, because, you hate to see a guy like that, you just throw him out with the bathwater. But we'll see. I'm rooting for him too, man. I just got question marks. Area code 412. What you got for us?
Oh, yeah, man. Appreciate you taking my call, man. I got a couple things to say. First thing about Minka, and the second thing about Bush. First thing about Bush, me and my dad, we went down to training camp on Hines Field, and we was actually down there on the field looking at them boys. I was even filming them until they told me to stop. But there was this one play by number 40, and he soaked the mess out of Bush, and the whole stadium went crazy. That was the beginning of the end. Because I'm going to tell you something. That's the same week that we signed Joe Sherbert, the end of that week. We went down and we saw that play was made on Wednesday, and then by Friday we signed Joe Sherbert. So I think, I don't know, I ain't trying to wish nothing bad on the boy, but I think Bush might be done. Second thing about Minka, I think Miles Killebrew, he the fastest safety we got on the team, and I think we're going to put him in place so we don't get the lid blown off the defense. That's what I think.
Man, appreciate that call, man. I love those 412s, man. It lets me know that you're either from Pittsburgh or the surrounding areas. And like I said, I'm always jealous. I live in Pennsylvania, but I'm not from the burg. So, I mean, as much as I'm still a fan I am, I can imagine how you guys in the area are. But good observation, man. And again, when you said he might be done, it could be back to what 937 was saying. Moments like that might have made him tentative. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just got to get out of your head. Go back to your roots, man. You was a dog. This the same dude that cut up, what was it, Michigan State's logo? He was a dog and was flying around the field, man, in his rookie season. So, come on, Bush. Snap out of it. Snap out of it, brother. And, we're forgetting about Killebrew. And that's a good point because, the guy earlier asked me about Carl Joseph. And again, what I always say, Steelers are known for that depth chart. Killebrew is the next man up. So, and you know what? Killebrew is a thumper. There's a guy that ain't afraid to tackle. So, we'll see, man. As far as coverage, we'll see. And again, maybe that's the plan. Maybe you lurk Killebrew. Let him play around the box. So that might very well be with who they go with. So appreciate you for reminding us and bringing it up, my brother. Area code 202, what you got for us?
Yes, I want to point out a couple things that I was, observing this past Sunday. First of all, I'm going to get a question to you about Bush. When you look at the 22 on Mile, when you review that, what I'm seeing also that was not pointed out is that I'm seeing the linemen are getting into him, okay, and he's not shutting the blocks off, okay, which we know if you're any type of, middle linebacker, that's one of your first point of attack and counter, and I'm seeing that. What reminded me of that is I watched a lot of Ray Lewis playing for the Ravens. 2001 on, he had a a few years where he was not doing that because the lineman up front was not doing that. Now I understand because of Tuitt not being available, and like we just got Cam, and our backup depth is not there yet. That's causing the issues. So along with the mental and coming off the injury, I believe this is why the Devin Bush is in the area of his declining. But I believe, like you said, if we're all strength, those things can be corrected. But right now, it doesn't seem like it's not going to be corrected. And that's why our run-stop defense is so bad at this point. 239 by the Detroit Lions, unexplainable. But that's what we're looking at. When we look at the film, I'm sure you're going to see that. He's not doing a good job of getting these guys off him. So, with his size, he's not going to be able to take on these linemen. So, and then another thing that I watched the press conference today, the Pittsburgh Steelers press conference. Joe Serpa said they don't take practices seriously. Now, I don't know if he's making an excuse for himself or the rest of the team. It's why their tackling was so poor. But that's also unacceptable because, what we saw this past weekend, I don't have to say anything else, but it was kind of atrocious when you look at the whole factor. And if we're not going to be doing a lot of stunning and getting people in the right places after we, Vince Williams, one of our best run stopper, it's going to be a longer season because we're going to do a lot of, soul searching. So this is like the start of it. Hopefully by this game, we have learned our lesson as far as those mistakes. And also, I want to say about Rudolph, he kind of played what I expected. He missed a couple of throws. Ray in the end zone. We wouldn't have got to this point. But he played exactly what I thought he was, and he's not the future. That's all I have.
Man, thank you for your call. And I will just go back to your point about the tackling. Because I said it earlier in the show. I don't know if you were around. I feel like Schobert was just saying that as a statement. I don't take from it that he was saying that the team or the coaches don't take practice seriously. I mean, he could have, but I doubt it. I don't think that's what he was saying. But even if, what I said earlier in the show, you in the NFL, no teams really practice tackling often during the season. There's a numbered amount of padded practices, right? That's number one. Number two, when somebody left a comment earlier, I just heard the sound in my ear, so I'm gonna grab that comment after this. That's number one. There's not a lot of padded practices, and number two, we know that the Steelers are uber physical in training camp. We even hear the players come out and say how they got an extra practice in to take advantage of an extra day in pads. So I don't believe that's the problem. And like I said, man, you in the NFL and you blaming not being able to tackle well on practice week to week. Nah, B. I don't believe that because, again, ask around the league. There are quite a few teams that I've heard their players say they don't tackle during the season at all. Think about that. Y'all probably have heard that too. I've heard players say that they don't tackle at all during the season. There's no padded practice, and them teams be winning. So, or sometimes you've even heard with the Steelers, oh, they threw the pads on after a loss. You see what I'm saying? Like, nah, you should know how to tackle. Come on, man. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Everybody pretty much is getting paid at least $1 million, close to it, even if they on the minimum. So I ain't trying to hear that. But understand your point and appreciate your comment and your call. Let me read what did I just do? Hold on, give me a second, guys. Oh, I had turned on the wireless portion of my headphones there. I heard a little beep. Let me read the comment, man. Round of applause to C. Antoine Hill. He threw a donation a little while back. And after that, guys, we have 3 more calls that I'm going to get to, and we'll cap it off at those 3. And please, guys, keep it short if you can so we can wrap up. He says, I think Pitt likes Green at center because he's the most athletic center on the team. With Bush, he needs another year to get his confidence back. Yeah, I think we can all go along with that. I definitely think that Devin Bush, I even notated that I think on Tuesday. I keep saying Tuesday. On Sunday's show, I put that in the comments. I was saying, man, this is essentially his second season. That third year is the magical year for the Steelers, and that's when you really make your hay. Let's see. Now, the fifth year option is up for debate. Now, we'll see. But, yeah, we'll see, man, what Bush is going to do. Either he's going to bounce back or he's not. And, yeah, Kendrick Green, I do think they like him at center, obviously, but I think that could be up for discussion as well in the offseason. So, there you go. Here we go. Next call was area code 334. What you got for us?
How you doing today, Sims? Man, I was listening to your show. I've been absent for a little while, but it is what it is. Man, I hear your passion about these Steelers, and I'm just sitting here with a tissue in my hand, wiping away the tears. Like, see embarrassment take place. Every week, always somebody out of place, out of line. I'm a type of person, man. I love fundamental football. I love how Billy Chick coaches his boys. He can take anybody off the street and make him a star because he knows the basis of the game, what make players great, how to make a player great. You have talent, that's good, but I can't teach that. You just gifted, you born. I'm going to teach you the fundamentals, how to be in the league for a long period of time. I don't see that in Pittsburgh. And when you look at Bush, and I think one of the reasons why he don't play with a lot of enthusiasm is because you took a key source from him. You need an inside linebacker. Vince Williams was that, but he retired. He don't have nobody to come in and motivate him, to get him to play, to make him say, man, forget about the league, forget about this right here, let's play. And I think that's missing, you know what I'm saying? I don't like Tomlin's style of coaching. It's a lovey-dovey situation between certain players. I don't like that. I like the coach make you feel like if you don't get yourself together, you'll be out of the job by the night. Belichick had them guys playing like that. And that's why they were always consistent in winning and being where they need to be as champions. You know what I'm saying? Pittsburgh can learn something. They can learn a lot. I just don't see it. I never care much for Tomlin. I don't like his style, how he bring players and stuff like that. He kind of laid back. I don't like it. Kyle was used to have guys, they just were scared. They came to play for him. And if you can't bring that type of mentality back, man, we could be looking at Pittsburgh as wussies in the AFC. And that's all I have to say. Thank you, sir.
No problem, man. Thank you for the call. I always appreciate everyone's perspectives and different thoughts and feelings. And see, I can respect what 334 said, and y'all know why? Because he just said, I just don't prefer Tomlin's style. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I have nothing to say. And I love when people can just give their opinion like that without it being so crazy. He just said, I just don't prefer his style. That's respectable, right? But the crazy thing about it, though, man, it's funny with our organization. Some people prefer Cowher. I love both of them as far as what they've been for the team. But it's like what we're asking for, like when comparing them to like Belichick, neither one of them did that. Cowher didn't win more than Tomlin did. You know what I mean? They're equal, and now Tomlin's continuing to go. But you see what I'm saying? It's like either one of those styles didn't produce what I think people want out of the Steelers. People would love for the Steelers that had been, the 70s Steelers again. We would like to see that in this day and time, which is absolutely fair. Or, back in the early 2000s when we went to the Super Bowl and win again, and then a couple years later win again. we would love to see that, and we're not seeing it right now. So I think, it's a lot of different emotions that's going through us as Steelers fans. But I don't know, man. I guess I would say 3-3-4. It's hard for me to say what the coaching staff is or isn't because I'm not in the building. Like, for as many people that say that he's too much of a player's coach, as many people will also say, players included, they'll run through a wall for him. So, and I don't know. I don't know if I feed into the narrative that he doesn't do that, because we have no way of knowing. It's just our outside opinion. And again, if you a nutcase like me that listens and watches all these interviews, past players and all that, I hear them always say he holds you accountable and stuff like that. And he is more relatable, more of a player's coach in that way, but not like he slacks off. But I don't know, again, but I respect your opinion. I love your opinion there. Instead of you just, bash for no reason, you gave your valid reason, and I respect that. Everybody does not have to like Mike Tomlin. So respects to you, man. 2 more calls, guys. Let's keep them quick. First one, 678. What you got for us?
Thanks a lot for my call, Sim.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. I just like to do this real fast. It could be on this podcast about SteelersNation being spoiled. I think they all SteelersNation forgets a lot. I was fortunate enough, grew up with the team. In the 80s, they played about Chuck Noll. It said he lost. Then he got a with a whack squad, really, to tell you the truth. Bubby Bruce was the quarterback, and he was terrible, But I feel as though SteelersNation, what the people have in the 80s.
We having a tough time hearing you. It's cutting in and out.
Oh, I apologize, there. I'm sorry for that. In the 70s, people used to complain about Terry Bradshaw. And when he left, we had oh my, I forget his name off the top of my head. I apologize. But after Cliff Stout, we had Cliff Stout. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It was dark times for sure. Terrible records. With Chuck Noll, then we get Cowher. And every time they like Cowher better than this and that, they used to complain about Cowher.
Right.
That's what should do, because we're used to having the best of everything since the 70s. So at the next, like Kendrick Green, he ain't snapping the ball good enough. Get rid of him. Bush, he ain't tackling like Shazier. Get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, yo, man. You know what I'm saying? That's how SteelersNation is. But
yeah,
I will
man.
say this, though, I don't like this. Now, I do not like this. We go get a number 1 draft pick. He gets us down to the goal line against Chicago, then next week against Detroit. And we don't even let him touch the ball. Now, I know you gave off the numbers and whatnot. I don't have a problem with the numbers, Sim. I have a problem, though, when we get down to the goal line and supposedly Canada wants to be this physical running team. When we get down to the goal line, I would like to see our number 1 draft pick touch the ball at least 2 times.
Yeah.
2 times. Now, and I was trying to say about them quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying? First of all, Mason Rudolph, he's a backup. He's not a starter. He's a backup. I don't know any team that is comfortable, any fans that's comfortable and says, like, oh, man, our starter went down, our backup going to be playing. Everybody be nervous when your backup get in there. He's not as good as the starter. That's why he's a backup.
That is a fact.
So I just feel as though, I have to feel back too. The game has changed, and like you said a few minutes ago, I think a lot of people that grew up in the 70s are used to, especially myself. Like, I see we're losing too many games, and I know you say that you don't want to, put it on the officiating, but I see too many calls that are whack going against the Steelers. Now, I don't, unfortunately, because of Goodell, and I grew up with old school football, I don't watch football as much as I used to, so I don't see the other teams. Because after the Steelers is done playing, I don't like Roger Goodell's style of football. That's why another reason why you don't see people flying to the ball. They can't. They got to think about tackling somebody. When you was younger, Sim, and when we was younger watching the game, when defenders were coming up, they had their hair on fire. If you tried to catch that ball, you was going to get dislodged from it.
Yeah.
If the quarterback held the ball too long, he was going to get crushed. That's what the game is about, man. And I don't like that. That Brady rule is terrible. It's terrible. They need to get rid of it. They should have never had it. You got one quarterback to get hurt out of all the time that the NFL is going in existence, and you put that rule in there because of him? Come on, man. Come on. Get rid of it. I apologize, man. I know I went too long. I got a little excited. I apologize. But that's
you good.
Thank you for taking my call, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thank you for calling. We're going to throw you a round of applause. That was a heck of a call right there, man. I love it. I love that fire. I love the passion, man. This is what it's all about. We have a good time here, man. And yeah, I don't even need to rehash what he said, man, because I'm not going to do it any justice. I'm not. I love that passion at the end, man. And one thing I will mention, though, is what he said about the SteelersNation, man. Y'all spoiled, man. We are. Because it's just like my man Lee Potty said in here, nobody ever wants to talk about Coward's dark days. Never. And we can say all the reasons why, whether it's quarterback, whatever, man. I'm just saying, there's always warts that you can find on any coach. But like I said, I definitely respected my man 334's opinion. I love how he just said, I just don't like Tomlin's style. And we don't have to like anybody. It's just, as fans of a team, I just don't know why we so quick to trash stuff. Like, even if you don't like the current regime, I foresee Tomlin being there for still a long time. So you might as well just, find a way to root for the team the best you can, man, and just stomach him if you don't like him, because he ain't going nowhere. So great call, great passion, man. Let's wrap up with the final call here. Area code 252. What you got for us?
What's going on, man? What's up?
What's going on?
Yeah, ain't nothing happening, bro. And like you said, I can't outdo homeboy. I got the same passion. Yeah, I was a 70 Steelers fan as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, what he was saying set me on fire, dog. You know what I'm saying? So, but I will say this. As you know, SteelersNation needs to understand, bro. The 70s was the 70s, man. We can't field a team like what we had in the 70s because the rules have changed. If we was to bring forward a team like what we had in the 70s, dog, we'd be penalized from here to hell and back. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know this, because even then they had to. We had to kind of change. They had to go and change the rules. You see what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? We had the kind of teams where, like Mel Blount, he changed the game.
Yeah.
And a few other ones. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, we need to understand, bro. Us who were in the 70s, like I said, we had all this stuff. We have to understand, bro, times have changed. We kind of need to let that go. You see what I'm saying? And just go with what we got right now, like Tomlin. Everybody's complaining about Tomlin. Tomlin this, Tomlin that. Man, look. Get over it, man. Whatever beef you got about Tomlin, man, what they need to do, whatever beef they got with Tomlin, they need to just grill up and eat it, man, because the man going to be around here probably for another 10 to 15 years. They need to just grill up and eat it, man, and just deal with it, man. You know what I'm saying? Just deal with it. And like I said, my man, I gave him a round of applause too, man, because like I said, the brother said it, man. He put it out there. That's the kind of thing I would do. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, I'm enjoying your podcast and everything, man. I subscribe to you and everything, dog. Hey, you got it going on over here, and I appreciate you, man. And
Man, appreciate you as well, man. Great call, and thank you, man. Sound like you may have been a recent subscriber, so man, you have no idea how much I appreciate it. Definitely think you're a new caller, so I appreciate that as well. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I guess I can take these headphones off now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can't speak as much for the 70s because, you know, it wasn't my era, but, you know, obviously I've seen film and all of that. We do kind of have to let that go a little bit. You know, steel curtain don't exist, and even the style of football we played in the mid-2000s ain't really the same. It's just, you got to be willing to roll with the punches. As far as the coaches, we can disagree with stuff. We should. We should always disagree with what we like and, you know, what we don't like and things like that, and criticize the coaches when we need to. Y'all know I do it all the time when it's a coaching thing. I'm always going to come here and say, nah, I didn't like that, Tom. Like the fake field goal. I just said it a couple weeks ago. Come on, bro. What was you thinking? And I know he said we wanted to be aggressive, but that wasn't the time. No. Come on, Coach T. So, but I don't hate him. I actually like him as a coach. I'm sorry. I do. Now, if you don't like his style, that's cool. But I'm just saying, man, we have been with Chuck Noll, obviously, but with Cowher and Tomlin, we have all consistently been teams that people talk about. Like, you expect the Steelers to go to the playoffs. That's coaching. We don't have to agree with him. And like Tony said in here, Cowher lost some AFC championships, right? But the reason why they was always in the hunt for the most part, had a couple losing seasons, I get it. But it's the pedigree. It's the standard that they set. And both Tomlin and Cowher did that. That's why we even in this position now. That's why we're not like other teams and we're just happy to finally do this and no. That's why. Like, coaching has done that. I can't guarantee this because nothing is a guarantee, but I would love to see what the Steelers would have been. Let's go back to say 2010. Say we had a different coach beginning at 2010. How many coaches would we have had if we were just like some of these other organizations? We might be on our third coach right now, fourth maybe. You see what I'm saying? It's like we get another coach after Tomlin and he lose a couple seasons. What y'all gonna say? I'm just saying. Nothing is a guarantee, but where I can appreciate Tomlin is, man, every year I'm feeling like, yeah, we might have a chance because I think we have a solid foundation. They gonna make some mistakes that we don't agree with. Of course, that's why they head coaches. But we always in the talk, man. And that's, again, you got to give credit to coaching. You know, if you are a bad coach, there's no way you can do that. There's no way you can continually have these seasons where you're talked about or you go on this 12-4 run. Now, Mike, I'm going to need you to win another playoff game here soon, though. I ain't liking that. I mean, I ain't saying you know Marvin Lewis or nothing, but I don't like this recent playoff record that we got. So you're going to have to at least get some playoff games back under the belt. Shout outs to Shadow Slayer. Round of applause for the donation. And I'm only going to be before you a little while longer, guys. He says, Sim, I would like to also add that don't let us draft a top rookie quarterback and he struggle. And Steelers fans will say garbage. Patience is important in sports. You know it. Boy, as much as some people like Malik Willis, let the Steelers draft him. Or no, not even him. Willis or Pickett or Kenny Pickett. Let's say the Steelers get one of them dudes and they struggling. Boy, y'all gonna be ready to throw them in the trash so fast. That is a fact, Shadow Slayer. Round of applause to the good brother Rel Fax as well, man. Donation, appreciate that. He says, Steelers fans, this game was a glimpse into the future without Ben. It's not a guarantee we land a Hall of Fame quarterback again. So please enjoy him when he's back. Man, that is a fact. I hope we get lucky. Like I said, I told you guys this on the show. I hope we get lucky and find a Justin Herbert type where he wasn't the first quarterback to go. He wasn't projected to be in the first top 3. They had question marks about him, didn't know where he was going to. I would love for us to find that guy, the quote unquote diamond in the rough. I would really like us to find a real diamond in the rough like a Russell Wilson that goes in the 3rd round. That would be outstanding. But you're right. There's no guarantee that we hit the ground running. But unfortunately, it's time for Ben to go, man. His career has come and gone in that regard. He's put in the work, and it's just time, man. It's just time. It's caught up. But yeah, it could be some ugly years going forward. So real quick, man, just a real small recap of the game, man. I don't even have to say much. I said most of it, ironically, on the post-show game. The same stuff stuck out, man. Bad tackling, horrible tackling, and turnovers. That's what killed us. And lack of execution. Again, we talked about the Mason Rudolph misses and that miss to Deontay Johnson. I mean, that's that might ice the game right there. That might ice the game, man. And then, both Johnson and Freiermuth fumbling. And I did want to comment on what my man said earlier, the phone call. Can't remember which one of you guys said it, but that was a great play by Mark Gilbert. Ain't that crazy? He makes a play against the team that signed him as a free agent. And again, remember, guys, I saw this too on Twitter. See, the Twitterverse doesn't always understand the team. I saw people saying why we let him go. We didn't let him go. He was poached from the practice squad. See, fans, sometimes you don't always be right. Hey, I don't always be right. I'm just saying I pay a lot of attention to the team. And I try not to put a narrative out that I don't kind of know the facts about it. The Steelers did not release Mark Gilbert. He was poached from the practice squad. The Lions signed him off the practice squad. Was nothing we could do about that. Now, if you want to say the Steelers should have had him on the 53, that's a different debate. I'm just saying. Yeah, bad turnovers, bad execution, and simply just the worst tackling you've ever seen, man. I mean, it was literally embarrassing. Steelers, seems like their money play now when they run the ball is that zone split. And I've seen us run it out of shotgun. I've seen us run it out of single back. I've even seen us run it out of pistol. But it's basically when the line blocks down like a zone blocking scheme one way, and then you have the tight end, usually it's Freiermuth, come and crack back down on the opposite side, kick out, and then that creates a hole. We ran that very successfully against the Detroit Lions, and that seems to be our money play. It doesn't seem to be power anymore. We used to run power a lot, but you're seeing more of that zone split type of run game. I notated that. We're running it a lot, and I'm going to watch the game once again because I only watched the first half, but I'm going to go back and watch again. I just want to, keep an account of how much we are not running power because that's something that was our bread and butter seasons before. And then also, man, I want to talk about the players that the Steelers draft. And not so much what the caller said, but, because he was saying that it seems like we draft guys that put them in the wrong position. I know that could be debatable. But what I wanted to talk about more is just, because I see a lot of this too going on Twitter. People are saying that the Steelers are horrible at draft picks. They're talking about Devin Bush. That's what kind of started it. Steelers don't ever hit on players. They don't do a good job. And I'm like, time out. What players are we talking about? Are we talking about a specific position? Because I asked somebody that and he was like, no, they just traditionally don't do good in the draft. I'm like, seriously? The Steelers do very well in certain positions. Wide receiver, they've hit on most of those. Does anybody know Cam Hayward? You ever heard of him? Shazier? You ever heard of that guy? I mean, there's multiple players. Le'Veon Bell, have you ever heard of him? And coincidentally, Le'Veon got cut today by the Ravens. Wow. Man, his career just didn't play out the way he thought, huh? Yeah, Le'Veon, Antonio Brown. I mean, you could go on and on and on. David DeCastro. I mean, there's many. So you can't put it in a box and say they don't draft well. Come on, man. Come on. Again, SteelersNation is spoiled, man. Like we expect everything to hit. Guess what? A lot of teams have busts because they were already calling Devin Bush a bust. Let's say he turns out to be a bust. It happens. Every team is going to draft a bust. It happens. And we're not immune to that. Oh, and what about the other guy that we drafted that nobody had him as the top edge coming out? Remember? Nobody projected that this guy would be the defensive player of the year or at least play like one. What's his name again? What's that guy's name again? That the Steelers broke the mold and went away from the normal way they do business as far as money to non-quarterbacks. Who's that guy? What's that guy's name? Oh yeah, TJ Watt. Oh, and Aaron something says, Sim, you missed on Artie Burns. So they do. Every team does. I'm telling you, it happens. Jarvis Jones, but every team, it happens. We're not immune to it, Steelers fans. We're not. Sometimes you just got to embrace it. Everything don't work out. I get it. But let me tell y'all something. As much as some of you guys think you are the best couch GMs in the world, I can guarantee you if you were drafting every player, some of your players would be bust. Yes, they would. I promise you. No one has control over it. You have guys that are clear number one in a Patrick Mahomes that, again, wasn't expected to go in the first round. And then you have guys like Tom Brady that you found in the sixth round. It just, there's no science. I mean, I know you go off of projections, but projections are just that, projections. Do y'all remember that Jarvis Jones was the sack leader in the NCAA when he got drafted? Now, not saying that I would have swung for him, took a shot on him, but I mean, I could understand a GM just looking at numbers, and that's their fault for scouting. Now, the scouting, they didn't do good scouting him, I guess, but again, if he's producing well in college, you let the tape speak for itself, I guess, but it just didn't pan out. Artie Burns was a reach. We know why. Everybody, the world knows who they wanted to draft. They pretty much said as much. I'm just saying, man. Oh, what's that other dude we drafted, man? I mean, this guy was one of the best ever to play. What's his name? He had all that hair. What's the dude? What's his name? I think he's a Hall of Famer. What was that guy's name? Y'all know who I'm talking about. All that flowing hair, even his kids got it. Palomalu, that guy. But the Steelers never draft great players. That's what I'm saying, guys. We got to stop being so emotional, man. We got to stop, man. It's in every draft class, you can find players that was not so good. And on every team. Go the last 3 seasons. Go back and look at them draft classes for other teams and tell me where some of them players at. Come on, man. Y'all got to stop, man. Yes, he was Kenyan. And Troy, boy, it was a question mark. He even said it himself. He even questioned it after his rookie season. So, I don't know, guys. I think we should just calm down a little bit, man, and just, let's just be fans. Let's be fans. And like I said, temper your expectations, folks, because this ain't the year. I just don't see it. Unless the Steelers go on some miraculous run, this is not it. This ain't the season. It's not the season. Let's just let's embrace it and enjoy it and embrace the fact that we are officially entering rebuild time. Okay? Roethlisberger comes back. They want to give him one last hurrah. This doesn't appear to be the team that's going to do it. It just is what it is. Let's just watch each week. Let's continue to critique. Let's continue to be mad when stuff doesn't go our way. But as far as what our expectations are, I think it's time that you turn that dial down a little bit and just face reality and let us be surprised. Let them surprise us. Let them surprise us. Let them go on like a 8-game run, like they win the rest of their games or something like that. Oh, however many games are left. Let's be surprised. Let's not expect it. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm telling y'all, this ain't the year. I said it 2 weeks ago. But we still love them. Win or lose, man. And don't be one of them fans that you off when you done when they not winning. No, don't do that. A real fan is through the thick. Win or lose. That's just how it is. I'm always going to rep the Steelers. I don't care if we 0-16 or 0-17. Come on, man. But that's all. That's how I'm going to end this one, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I love all of the debate that you guys got going on, and I'm not going to jump into the comments tonight, man, because I've already been on quite a long time. But I wanted to get all those calls in, man, and I definitely wanted to hear you guys' opinions. And I'm looking forward to more of you guys calling, man, as we continue with this thing. We'll love to hear more and more opinions from you guys. But thank you for everybody who called. Listen, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, I'm going to remind you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. Become a subscriber. And once you are subscribed, cut on your notification bell. Cut that bell on so you know when videos are available. As well, if you like what you saw here tonight, why don't you show that? Don't just say you like it. Show it with a thumbs up. Hit that like button if you like the show. And also, if you would like to have custom content, right now, the more so private content is really just all 22 footage. I got some more things coming on the horizon. Might even be non-Steelers stuff just to kind of give you guys some more perks. But right now, if you are a member of the channel, you're able to see all 22 footage of the games. As soon as I have it, I probably should get that by tomorrow. So looking forward tomorrow to posting that. I saw you guys did watch that last week. So, it's a little more private and personal stream there. If you consider that, the link is in the description. You're welcome to become an extended family member. But outside of that, guys, I hope you all have a great night. Stay safe. Stay blessed. And like always, thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Catch you the next time. Peace.